We're going to hand over next to Esrom Malatji. Esrom, thank you so much. If you would come off mute and start to share, and I will do the introductions. Esrom is a senior technical advisor to the South African government with the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy, and he is advising on energy efficiency projects. He's busy with the doctorate, and his research interests are across power system optimization, smart grids, smart cities, smart utilities, and he's an absolute geek in stochastic programming. And obviously, electricity markets and transactive energy comes into this. But where we want to guide the conversation is into this idea that energy efficiency is absolutely a critical enabler. And this also applies to large energy intensive customers as well as to residential customers, because if we can reduce our demand and reduce our consumption of a critical scarce resource, we can get an overall better efficiency from this energy industry. Malatji, all yours. Take it away, Esrom. Thank you.
Okay, no, thanks, Lloyd. Yeah, no, as Lloyd said, my name is Esrom Malatji. I'm just gonna try to be brief and touch on this issue of future energy efficiency. I don't know why I called it future, because energy efficiency is energy efficiency that they told us 20 years ago, and we never attended to it. So it's more like a reminder of the same thing that they told us 10 years ago. Okay, let's start with the basics. You've got your supply side and your demand side. So those things need to be balanced. That's standard. So your demand must match the supply. But whenever in our case in the country now, the demand is more than the supply. So that's why we go into a load shedding. And then also if the supply it's more than the demand, it's also a problem that we also need to fix. But now what causes this? Like, as we said, the demand is more than the supply. But the issue is maybe we need to look into the solution, like what happens when this happens. What do we need to do? Currently, we are going through a very difficult phase of load shedding. This is our demand profile here that shows you just the summer and winter. We are consuming a little bit more in winter, which is understandable. This is all the heating. And yeah, so we actually have that. So in summer, even though it's hot, but majority of the people don't necessarily cool that much. So basically this picture was just trying to show you what you already know in terms of demand and supply. So what is the proposed solution? Normally now, even now, when there's this problem, the main thing now we are saying, okay, there's something on the supply side. So we need to actually do something on the supply side. And then these are the solutions that we normally tend to look at. These are good solutions. They are nice. I like them. But the issue with them, most of the time, you cannot get them quick. You cannot dispatch them quick into the grid. Because of the process that you have to go through, the building. This takes long. So for example, we've got the bid window 5. I don't think there's any plant that's up, and that process also started long because the procurement of it also becomes longer. Some of the equipment you might need to get them from overseas. Now that also takes time. For example, we've got the 2 big build projects. Kusile and Midupi. They took long to finish. So these are the issues that we deal with this proposed solution. But we mustn't forget that the aim is actually just to balance the supply and demand. But actually, the quickest way we can do, maybe it's not look into the supply side, not the demand side. And the reason I'm saying that is this: the efficiency of the system. So basically, the IEA estimate that we can reduce energy usage by around 50% below the current levels by 2025. So basically what we were saying around, even now, around 2/3 of the energy that's generated, it's actually been wasted. So basically the solutions we proposed before, what happens to those solutions? They are actually feeding into a very unstable, like a very inefficient system. And it's gonna go back to a point which I will conclude with. Maybe we need to ask ourselves, who is the problem here, for example, in our current situation? Is it Eskom or is it us? I know everybody will say it's Eskom, but where I'm sitting, I'm saying no, it's actually both of us. We are 50-50. Like, we've got a responsibility of making our systems to be efficient, and then Eskom also to supply. But Eskom has been supplying a very efficient system for years, and now the wheels are coming off. And now all the blame is going to Eskom. But none of, like, our municipalities are probably very, like, okay, the metros, for example, they are still using fluorescent lights, HPS lights. Those things consume a lot of power. They consume a lot of power. By just fixing our light, just removing our street light and high mask light, that can save us 3 to 4 stages, probably, if we just do that. And why do I like that? Because that can be quick. You can do that quick, right? And it can, remember, when you start retrofitting your lights, you are retrofitting them the whole country. You are not just retrofitting them on one section, you are retrofitting them the whole country. So if, for example, we start now, by August now, by August next year, we might be finished. But on the other proposed solution I gave you to actually manage the supply, it definitely, I can tell you now, if you start the process now, just for the procurement of it, you might finish next year, December. And that's where the problem comes. That's why we have to look into actually energy efficiency and demand side management while we are waiting for the other system to actually, like the other solutions to actually come into place. But we mustn't forget that you also don't want green technologies like your green generation, your solar, your wind to come and supply a very inefficient system. That's not what we want. So what I'm saying, the municipality, what I see in the municipality of the future, say municipality of the future must not experience any uncomfortable power cuts or load shedding. And there are also, I think the previous speakers, they talk about how we can actually use IoT. IoT is one of the things that can actually help us to deal with that, which is currently not being used. Municipalities of the future needs to be more energy efficient. And this must be the residents, the business, and the municipality. By the way, in every municipality, the municipality itself, it's one of the biggest consumers in that municipality. So first, we need to make sure that any infrastructure owned by the municipality, that infrastructure is very energy efficient. And actually, that's what we must start. That's before we move into business. But we will touch on the challenges of that. There will always be challenges about that. So on the resident side, I think the government has started the process of EPC, Energy Performance Certificate, for municipal buildings and some business buildings. But I see that there's an opportunity for municipalities to actually move that up one notch and do it for residents. So all the residents must actually submit some sort of an energy certificate for their houses. And then should we find that their houses are not that efficient, there will be a penalty that we can put in to make sure that we encourage them. I know it's going to be very difficult because, for example, some households, the way they are, that might be difficult, but we can also maybe exempt those and move into residences that are properly built and so forth. The municipality needs to play an active role in balancing the demand and supply. This is what I meant with the IoT. We can use like blockchain technology. I'm not going to go into this a lot because the other speakers have already touched on it, but maybe we can, on the discussion, we can, I'm willing to actually discuss that. Okay, so what are the challenges when you talk to municipalities about energy efficiency? They will tell you that the lack of capital, which I will show a solution that I'm passionate about. Financial institutions are only willing to finance generation project. Majority, they are not willing to finance energy efficiency project, which is another area that we need to invite them. We need to sit down with this financial institution and see how we can help. There's always a skill shortage. something that SAIEE, SAIEE, these organizations, SAIEE's got a lot of courses that they're offering. I think there's something we can do actually to bridge that. And then there's always obviously the technological and regulatory barrier to adoption of new technologies, which also, especially when I'm talking about blockchain, which it's good for the municipality to balance their demand and supply. So there will always be some barriers into deploying such technologies. So here, this is what, so we have what we call an ISCO model. So what we are arguing is that there's no one that says that he or she does not have capital or money for energy efficiency. That's actually not true, because if you look on the right here, these are your energy costs. Let's just take one light, one high mask light or one street light. So you are paying this cost. So when you are paying this cost, so that means that can be used actually as a capital. So now I can come as an ISCO. ISCO is the energy saving company. I can come and say, look, I can come and retrofit your street light for free with an LED, which will consume less. So there will be a cost saving. So me and you, we can share that cost saving. So from here, I take a portion as an ISCO, then the municipality actually get this portion, and then this we pay the supplier, which probably in this case will be Eskom. So you are already consuming, you are already paying Eskom. So what we are saying just get somebody who can come and do this thing for free, not for free, but without you having to put in some investment. And then after, obviously there will be a contract, energy performance contracting between you and the ISCO. And then after some time, let's say we've got a 3 or 5 year. So after 5 years, now all these energy savings are actually going to the municipality. But the very same model can be extended to actually just private clients. So what I'm saying now, there's no company that can run with inefficient motors without VSD and claim that, no, but we don't have money. What we can do, just get somebody who's willing to invest. There are people who are looking for business. For municipalities, there's a program that the DMR is running, which you can actually approach them and then they can actually assist in this. So for example, what we are saying, we don't understand why the big metros, like maybe let's forget the big metros. When you drive on the highway to the airport from Pretoria, all those lights are HPS. How much energy are we consuming? We can save half of that energy, but probably if you go to SANRAL will tell you that no, but we don't have capital cost for that. But what we are saying, just get an ISCO who can replace all those lights, and then you pay him based on the energy savings from those lights. So there's no capital. So here you can see that we are just wasting electricity or energy by choice, because it's just the will. It's just to allow someone to help you, because the help is there. So that's something that I think maybe we also need to take it further. And like I said, on the government SOEs, Eskom, you can approach the DMRE. There's a program that they are actually working on this regards. Like when you pass the power station, you see those power stations, majority of them also run with inefficient lights. So Eskom can approach the DMRE and they retrofit all the power stations with LED lights. And this also with the cities. But the private clients, they can also try to engage the ISCOs. There will be people that are willing to actually assist. So on the technology and regulatory barriers, and then the lack of standards. So what we also realized that maybe also the SAIEE and IEEE maybe need to play a major role is that there are a lot of things that you want to adopt, then the problem will be the policy. Like for example, what I just showed previously, there's a policy change that need to come into place to make the whole thing run smoothly. But lucky enough, on the government side, like state-owned entities, state infrastructure, the DMR is working on something, but it also took long. They've been working on this thing for years. So one of the challenges that we are facing now, the policy developments take far too long, while, for example, the advancement in technologies are quicker. We've got that. It's something that we need to address, something that we need to probably engage government and sit down with government and see where we can help each other. You know, people will always say, though, there are talks between government and maybe SAIEE or maybe IEEE, but those talks, majority of the members don't even know about them. So we need to change that, because there are a lot of people with knowledge out there that can assist the government. We've got an issue, for example, of talent shortages. I always complain about this. There are a lot of kids from universities who wants to work. For example, look at the space of IoT. When I look at actually creating the whole market thing where you can balance the demand and supply using blockchain within the municipal network, you know how many kids would be excited just to work on that kind of project. But they are not given an opportunity. And then we'll come back and say, "Wow, there's a skill shortage." I don't think there's a skill shortage. There's just a lack of a will. There's no will. That's something that we need to change. Obviously, one of the biggest things, especially with new technologies, it will be concern on cybersecurity and privacy. That's everything online. That's what we're going to face. And then interoperability between blockchain, for example, and other new technologies with the legacy ecosystem. So I think one other thing, we tend to work in silos. So when we work in silos, when we bring things together, those things don't talk to each other, those things don't. SAIEE can actually facilitate those kind of talk where we bring everybody into one space and then we start talk about this thing holistically, because you've got equipment manufacturers sitting in their corner doing their own thing, not talking to municipalities or not talking to Eskom. So they design a product without talking to the municipality and Eskom. Now they come to the municipality and say, "No, we've got this product." But I think maybe that also needs to change, because that's hampering some of these adoption of these technologies. Obviously, there's the issue of scalability, speed, and finality in some of the technologies. Like, for example, I'm talking about scalability. I still say that if we retrofit all our street lights now to LEDs, we actually going to save 3 to 4 stages. So if we are supposed to be on stage 3, then we won't have load shedding, we won't see it. We are in load shedding because of these inefficient lights. I'm pointing out lights because they are easier to actually retrofit. And the savings, it's also very easy for the municipality or the state to actually engage private players to finance those, because then the payback period now can run into 3-4 years. So it's very short. So, but there are other things as well. For example, probably 90% of all the water treatment plants owned by the municipalities are inefficient. They are not running on VSDs. They are old motors. Those things needs to be changed. The municipality doesn't have money. Like I said, the municipality doesn't have money, but there's a private people with money that can assist. So let's use that. So in my concluding remark, I want to go back again and say something very controversial. There's nothing wrong with Eskom. Eskom has served us wonderfully for years. Now it's about time that we play our role into assisting Eskom while Eskom is going through this period. And then Eskom will also come back later. And that's just how life works. You were a kid, your parents help you, and then when you grow up, you help your parents. And the whole thing, it's the circle. So I think we can. I will be able to take questions after the next presentation. Thank you.
Malatji, Esrom, thank you so much. Much appreciated. And if you would.